Tade was the eldest son of Mr. Reby, but his life was marked by early loss. His mother had passed away while giving birth to him, leaving him with a deep sense of longing for the woman he never got to know. For the first few years of his life, Tade was raised by his maternal grandmother, who provided him with the warmth and affection he needed in those formative years. However, when Tade was just 2 years old, his father remarried, and Tade was brought back to live with his father and his new wife, a woman who would become a key figure in his life. His stepmother, a kind and loving woman, embraced him as her own, showering him with care and affection. In fact, many people in the community believe she was Tade's biological mother, as she always treated him with the same love and devotion she would show her own children. Only a select few knew the truth of his birth. Despite the challenges of his early years, Tade flourished under the care of his stepmother. His father's marriage provided him with stability, and his stepmother's loving attention gave him the confidence he needed to excel. Tade was a brilliant student, and his intelligence shone brightly throughout his school years. He attended one of the best primary and secondary schools in his community, where his academic performance was exceptional. His teachers admired him for his keen mind, and his classmates respected him for his humility and positive energy. Tade never let his difficult past define him. Instead, he used it as a motivation to work harder, always striving to be the best version of himself. His reputation as a kind, respectful, and intelligent young man spread quickly, and he was loved by everyone who knew him. After completing his secondary school education, Tade faced a difficult reality. The financial situation at home had worsened, and his parents struggled to make ends meet. With his father's income no longer sufficient to cover the family's expenses, Tade knew that he had to step up and support his family. Although he had dreams of continuing his education, those dreams were put on hold. Instead, Tade found work to help ease the financial burden of his parents. He took on various jobs, from working as a clerk in a local store to tutoring younger students in the community. Despite the challenges, he remained determined to help his siblings continue their education, putting their needs above his own. He often found himself exhausted from the long hours, but the thought of his siblings gaining an education kept him motivated. His stepmother supported him emotionally, reminding him that his hard work would one day pay off. Though the years were tough, Tade remained focused on the future, knowing that his sacrifices will eventually lead to a better life for both him and his family. His dedication did not go unnoticed, and in his community, Tade became a symbol of resilience and selflessness. Finally, after 4 years of hard work, Tade's perseverance paid off. He received the long-awaited news that he had been admitted to study computer science at one of the federal universities in Nigeria. The moment he heard the news, it felt as if a heavy weight had been lifted off his shoulders. His dreams of higher education were no longer out of reach. Tade's family rejoiced at the news, and his parents were filled with pride. They had seen their son struggle and sacrifice for the sake of their well-being, and now he was on his way to fulfilling his dreams. With determination in his heart and a newfound sense of hope, Tade prepared to embark on the next chapter of his journey, knowing that this was just the beginning of something greater. When Tade was in his third year at the university, he found himself drawn to a fellow student named Tayo. Tayo was a beautiful and intelligent young lady, and she stood out in their departments not only for her academic proficiency, but also for her kindness and grace. She was the only child of Professor Shitu, a respected lecturer, and Dr. Mrs. Shitu, a successful medical doctor. Tayo's upbringing was one of privilege, but her story was not without its struggles. Her parents had waited many years for the gift of a child, facing years of heartache as medical complications made pregnancy difficult for Dr. Mrs. Shitu. After many failed attempts and endless prayers, they turned to a surrogate mother. The surrogates carried Tayo for 9 months with the sperm of Professor Shitu and the egg of Dr. Mrs. Shitu before handing the newborn over to the Shitus. Tayo's birth was a testament of her parents' dedication and love, and she was cherished as their miracle child. Despite her privileged background, Tayo was down to earth, and her humility made her even more endearing to those around her, including Tade. As their friendship blossomed, Tade discovered that Tayo was not only intelligent and hardworking, but also incredibly compassionate and understanding. They spent hours talking about their hopes and dreams for the future, sharing both their academic challenges and personal stories. Tayo, with her calm demeanor and gentle spirit, quickly became someone Tade admired deeply. She listened with empathy, and her presence in Tade's life filled him with a sense of joy and warmth. In those moments of connection, Tade realized he had fallen in love with her, not because of her status or background, but because of the person she was. Tayo and Tade's love grew stronger with each passing day. Their relationship started as a simple friendship at the university, but over time, their bond deepened. Tayo found in Tade a companion who understood her, supporting her dreams, and made her laugh even in difficult times. Their love was built on mutual respect, trust, and affection. Tayo admired Tade's calm nature and the way he always put her needs before his. Whenever she was home for holidays, she couldn't stop smiling to herself as she replayed their sweet moments together in her mind. Her parents soon noticed her unusual excitement and joy whenever she was home. One evening, her mother, Mrs. Shitu, asked her directly if there was a man in her life. At first, Tayo hesitated, but the love she felt for Tade made her open up. She told her parents about Tade, how he was intelligent, kind, and caring. His father was interested in meeting him and requested that she bring him home after they graduated from the university. Tade was excited about the idea, hoping her parents would see in Tade what she saw. After graduation, Tayo invited Tade to her home to meet her parents. When he arrived, he was received warmly. Her father was especially fond of him at first sight, impressed by his composed demeanor and respectful attitude. They had a long conversation, and by the end of the visit, it was clear that Mr. Shitu approved of Tade. However, after he left, Mrs. Shitu called Tayo into her room for a private talk. She asked her daughter about Tade's personality, particularly about his temperament and whether he was a caring person. Tayo assured her mother that Tade was a calm and loving man who always showed her care and concern. Despite Tayo's positive response, Mrs. Shitu couldn't shake off a strange feeling she had about Tade. Something about him made her spirit uneasy, though she couldn't pinpoint why. A man who isn't caring during courtship will not suddenly become caring in marriage, emphasizing the importance of paying attention to a man's true nature. Even though she had no concrete reasons to distrust Tade, her motherly instinct warned her. Tayo, however, was deeply in love and hoped her mother's doubts will eventually fade away. A few weeks later, Tayo's mother called her for another conversation about her relationship with Tade. This time, she wanted to know if they had discussed their future home. Important matters like whether Tayo will be allowed to work after marriage, or if she will have to become a full-time housewife or a businesswoman. She also raised concern about financial responsibilities, asking if Tade expected her to contribute equally to the household expenses. Mrs. Shitu explained that some men, especially those with working wives, preferred a 50-50 financial arrangement, which could sometimes lead to issues if not discussed beforehand. Tayo smiled at her mother's concerns and assured her that such decisions were unnecessary because Tade was the sweetest soul she had ever met. She believed he will always consider her happiness in any decision they made together. In her eyes, their love was so strong enough to overcome any financial or domestic expectations. Tayo was confident that Tade will never impose any unfair responsibilities on her and she saw no reason to worry about such matters. However, her mother remained thoughtful, hoping that love alone would be enough to sustain their future. Less than 2 months after graduation, both Tayo and Tade secured well-paying jobs with reputable companies. Their career took off quickly, and in less than a year, they decided to get married. Their wedding was a grand and memorable event, filled with love, joy, and the presence of family and friends. As a symbol of their support and blessings, Tayo's parents gifted them a beautiful house and a brand new car, ensuring they started their new life on solid foundation. Everything seemed perfect, and Tayo felt she was living her dream life with the man she deeply loved. A few months into their marriage, Tayo gave birth to a set of twins, a boy and a girl. The entire family was overjoyed, but no one was as excited as Mrs. Shitu. She couldn't contain her happiness and immediately moved in with her daughter to help take care of the newborns. The house was filled with laughter and warmth, and Tayo embraced motherhood with so much joy. As her maternity leave neared its end, she began making preparations to return to work. However, just a few days before resuming, Tade had a serious conversation with her. He gently asked her to resign from her job so she could dedicate herself fully to raising their children. He assured her that she will never lack anything, promising to take care of her needs. Although hesitant, Tayo eventually agreed, trusting Tade's word and believing he had their best interest at heart. When she shared the news with her mother, Mrs. Shitu was not comfortable with the idea. She had always believed that a woman should have financial independence, no matter how loving and supportive her husband was. However, in order to avoid creating any misunderstandings between Tayo and Tade, she chose to keep silent about her concerns. Even after Tayo left her job, her parents continued to send her money, especially now that she wasn't working. Mrs. Shitu deep down hoped that her daughter's decision wouldn't lead to regrets in the future. Watch out for part 2.